Julio Cesar Portillo. Scheduled for 10, famed ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. standing by to introduce the principals. Let's go to him.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to the home of championship boxing, the Great Western Forum in Inglewood, California. As once again, we have a big night of action coming your way, and it's all brought to you by Forum Boxing Incorporated, along with Budweiser, the undisputed king of beers. Now we present the officials appointed by the California State Athletic Commission. Our physicians at ringside, Dr. Robert and Dr. Adam Carnes and Dr. Alex Sinclair. Timekeepers at the bell, also keeping count of the knockdowns, Aaron Coslow and Debbie Garcia. Presenting to you the referee in charge of this bout. She'll be giving instructions after the introductions. Introducing Gwen Adair. All right, fans, here we go. This bout coming away is one of our featured attractions. Scheduled 10 rounds of boxing, featherweights in action. Presenting to you first on my left, fighting out of the red corner. He is wearing blue trunks with white trim, joining us from Mazatlan, Sinaloa, Mexico. He weighed in at 126 1/2 pounds. His record includes 14 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, with 7 wins. Coming by way of knockout, introducing Julio Cesar Portillo. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the blue corner in this 10-round featherweight attraction, wearing black trunks with white lettering, joining us from Mexico City, Distrito Federal, Mexico. He weighed in at a ready 125 1/2 pounds, and his fine young record includes 10 wins, only 1 defeat, with 7 wins. Coming by way of knockout, here is Juan Manuel Márquez. Once again, Gwen Adair's our referee in charge.
All pieces. Giving you instructions in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Touch gloves.
Tail of the tape for these featherweights. We find that Marquez and Portillo are both 5'7". Pound difference. Portillo at 126 1/2. He's 2 years older and has an inch advantage in the reach department. We've not seen Portillo. He's making his Great Western Forum debut in this opener tonight. We have seen Marquez, and this is a young featherweight that shows great promise, Rich Murata.
Well, we've seen him on a couple of occasions, Tom, certainly in his fight at Caesar's Palace, which we saw him in last December when he destroyed Israel Gonzalez in 4 rounds. He was most impressive that night. That was our first chance to really get a good look at him, and we were basically pretty blown away by what we saw in the ring that night.
Yep.
However, his last bout, which was against Julio Sanchez Leon here at the Forum, not quite as impressive, did not show the same kind of power. In fact, he won a 10-round decision. That fight was very mundane, I guess you could say, for 6 rounds, and then all of a sudden there was this great explosion in the 7th, and then Marquez dominated the rest of the way.
We're off to a bit of a slow start, and of course the audience here tonight with the names like Marquez and Portillo, they expect a nose-to-nose, forehead-to-forehead confrontation, and their way of thinking, these guys are about a foot away from having a pretty good opening first round. If they could just get a little bit closer, why the confrontation could be something indeed. Marquez throws a big right hand at Portillo, who was going away at the time, and it was a glancing blow at best. Marquez in the black trunks. There's the right hand again. And Portillo in white trimmed, in blue, trimmed with the white fringe.
Portillo does bring a reputation, Tom, of being a crowd pleaser into this bout and to being an aggressive guy, although Marquez is succeeding, at least so far, in backing him up.
Marquez trained by Nacho Beristain, who is fast becoming, I may be repeating myself, the guru of Mexican boxers. He has certainly got quite a stable of young fighters in his tow.
I'll tell you one thing, Nacho's not getting much time in Mexico these days.
No.
He's in Vegas and in Los Angeles, constantly working.
Every time we do a fight, Nacho's there with a couple of guys, is he not? Gwen Adair, who may be one of the few female referees and judges in all of boxing, is working this opening bout tonight. Not only is Miss Adair very attractive, she's very competent, make no mistake about it.
Marquez, when he throws, in his fight against Gonzalez, we saw him pick up steam as the fight went along. He throws very stiff punches. You'll notice that his jab has some real sting to it. He pops pretty well with both hands.
He was almost in midair, both feet off the ground, somewhat akin to your golf swing, Rich, when he threw that left hand and then caught a wild left in return from a semi-retreating Portillo. We've got just a handful of seconds left here in round number 1. It has been a very slow one, to be sure.
Due to the truth in broadcasting statement, I cannot deny your golf accusation.
Just a handful of seconds left here in round 1. It is scheduled for 10. We're off to a bit of a quiet start. I'm sure things will pick up, and there's the bell. Be a tough round to score. Be interesting to see who Rich gave that round to. I would imagine to Marquez, because he seemed to be the guy that was attempting to institute the action. We're in his corner now. That's not Joe Berestein, of whom we spoke a moment ago, the man in the kind of maroon outfit there. And this is a man who's truly dedicated to the sweet science, no question about it. He will not take a youngster that doesn't want to fight or will not listen to his instructions. He's very, very adamant about that, and will book no interference. Across the way, we're in the corner with Portillo, and as we said earlier, this is the first time we've seen him in action, and of course the people handling him in the corner. Galen, for one, his manager in the seconds over there.
Our first publicity sheets had his name listed as Jose Luis Portillo, but suddenly he's become Julio Cesar.
Yes,
like about half the Mexican fighters now.
Most of them named Julio just automatically are Julio Cesar, which of course I guess is a magnificent tribute to Julio Cesar Chavez.
I predict that if that's the trend, that a year from now about half the boxers will be named Marco Antonio.
Could very well be. Could very well be. Men waiting for the other to make a move, it would appear. We don't have it's almost as though we had two counterpunchers in there looking at one another. Portillo's in the blue with a little white fringe, and of course Marquez, his name across the front of his trunks in the black trunks with the white lettering. Portillo very nearly and Guinadere quickly steps in to caution him and tell him to bring the punches up.
One thing working against Portillo in this fight is the fact that he has not fought. So we're talking, close to a year and a half of inactivity for Portillo. And
that was a loss, too, that night.
Yes, a 10-round decision to Jesus Sarabia. And, working off that rust against a good comer like Marquez is not going to be easy. But the records are, fairly evenly matched.
Yep, 10-1, and, of course, that one loss that Marquez has that came in the first fight he ever had was head cuts or butts to the head and open up a cut that stopped it. 7 knockouts. Portillo with 14 wins, 7 knockouts. And they both are relatively very, very young men. And down goes Portillo.
Quick little flurry of punches. A body punch seemed to be included in that.
Well, what a strange knockdown, which he had his eyes open. He was looking at the referee and lying flat on his back and quickly got right back up, didn't he?
Yeah, Portillo did not move for a few seconds, and I thought, man, the guy's not going to get up. But then he just jumped up to his feet, and he realized, you take a look at him here, he doesn't look much the worse for wear, does he?
No, in fact, he looks nonplussed, really. I mean, he was wide awake, wide-eyed, looking over at Guinadere. It was almost as if, how did that guy hit me with that, and how did I fall for it? No pun intended.
Funny thing, there was almost no crowd reaction to that. It was just like about the same reaction we're hearing now.
Yep. But statistically, he's 23, Portillo. Marquez is 21. Each has 7 knockouts. They're both 5'7". They're both, so he's got a little foot problem. Portillo's foot sliding a little bit. But he is a counterpuncher. In fact, he waits for Marquez to throw a shot before he comes back in retaliation. And wild left hand by Portillo.
Had some of that rustiness showing up, Tom, from that year and a half of inactivity.
Yep. Well, you see just a handful of seconds coming down to the end of round number 2. Portillo having been knocked down, and that would make it, without a doubt, I would think, a 10-8 round in favor of Marquez, and giving him the first round. He's got a pretty good advantage right now in the statistics department. We'll go over and take a look at Portillo along with you.
All right, Tom, we'll take a look and see if we can really pick up what happened there in that flurry by Marquez. A left, there's a good right hand to the face. Was a good right, and then a body shot that actually missed, but you will see the right hand. It comes in the midst of a three-punch combination. Left misses, right is on the chin, and then there's a delayed reaction, and then down he goes. Well, look at him as he lays there.
Yeah.
He looks like he's all done.
Yeah. And yet he quickly looked over at Guinadaire and then quickly jumped to his feet. But the right hand was a better punch than I saw when he went down, when we see it on the replay. Do you agree?
Yes, it was a clean punch, a clean right hand. The left wasn't much that preceded it, but there's that right.
Yeah.
Down he goes, and you see those knees really buckle, and he's flat on his back. He looks, for all intents and purposes, there like he's knocked out before he jumped up at about the count of 5.
A good right hand by Marquez, one we did not see when it was thrown. Thanks to the replay, able to bring everybody up to date on it. What a nice punch it was. Caught him right on the point of the chin. In case you've just joined us, these are featherweights at 125.5 and 126.5 pounds.
Marquez really holds that left out there, his jabbing hand, well out in front of his body when he throws it. It looks like it's almost halfway there to his opponent.
John Beirudi, who provides us with copious notes, if not voluminous files on all of these fighters, made a quick note that Portillo's chin might be a bit suspect, and that right hand probably proved Beirudi right once again, Rich.
We hate to admit it.
Ah, contraire. Ah, contraire, mon ami. Beirudi's on top of his game. That's a pretty low punch thrown in there by Marquez. And they're going to give Portillo a moment or two to regain his composure. I guess he is quick to recover, but it was a low shot.
It was certainly lower than what Jose Vita Ramos was getting hit with by Jorge Paez last Saturday night.
Yeah. And interesting how everybody here at the forum tonight, referees, Marty Dinkin and others, knowledgeable, of course, fight observers and fans. Everybody wanted to talk about that. We're in round number 3, and it's scheduled for 10. We're at the Great Western Forum, and of course Saturday night will be an unbelievable card. 4 title fights, pay-per-view, and of course you can step right into the forum and watch it as well. Magnificent card planned by Forum Boxing, John Jackson and Antonio Curtis. The bus. It'll be a big night here Saturday. Richard will be on hand, along with Fernando. Alan Massingale. Going to be a big night of boxing. Hope somehow, either at home or in person, we'll come by and look in.
Tom, so far, Portillo has not landed a single significant blow in this fight.
Not really. And he is really a counterpuncher. He has not, whatever action, and it's been mostly at a minimum, has been started by the man in the black trunks, Marquez.
Portillo is just not getting off at all. He was trying in the first couple of rounds and mostly missing. This round he's spending basically on the move and worrying about defending himself.
That right hand again may have caught him and backed him up, and Marquez is busy again inside. Marquez knocked him down in the second round. Round 3 coming to a close. We'll be back.
Oh, in round 3 by Marquez. There it is, a left hand definitely delivered south of the border. However, there was no point deduction by referee Guinadaire, although she did acknowledge that it was a low blow by giving Portillo some extra time to recover.
Referee and ringside judge Lou Moret confirmed no point. Marquez 30-26. I think that's pretty obvious. He's got a 10-8 round in the second for the knockdown, and he won the first and the third. And Portillo really has not done much. And of course, he's been out of the ring for better than a year, March of 94, and here we are in the middle of July 95, and ring rust, he looks to be in magnificent shape. 126.5 pounds, there's not much added weight on that frame. It's lean and trim, and
but that
just timing and everything else, Rich.
You know, that cosmetic look, though, doesn't make a guy ring sharp.
Of course not. I mean, like anything else, how can you stay away from a sport that's as enervating as this and as demanding as this for a year? And even though you're in the ring, you know, the gym training, a fight is another entirely different thing. Marquez lands that right hand again, and it's had a shower of perspiration, sweat, water, and what have you from Portillo. He's game, but he's wild, isn't he?
Yes, he is. And that's I'm sure, due to that rustiness, Tom, and just that inactivity. He's just not sharp in there at all. He can't connect with any punches that have any meaning. On the other hand, Marquez seems to be picking up some real momentum, and this is basically the same MO we've seen from him in other fights as he gets better as the fight wears along.
Well, it certainly was the case in the fight with Israel Gonzalez. I mean, boy, fourth round, he just overwhelmed Gonzalez before he put him away with a knockout. But Julio Cesar Portillo is just, as the guy said, a couple of bricks shy of a load and just a tad off center, you know.
Excellent body shot there by Marquez. Yeah. I think Portillo was thinking about claiming it was a low blow, then thought better of it and realized he just got caught. These punches are getting much stiffer now by Marquez. This is what we talked about. As the fight wears on, his punches begin to carry greater and greater weight.
Left-right combination scored for him. Portillo goes into a clinch. He threw a right hand and got nailed with a left-right over it by Marquez a moment ago. So it isn't, I don't mean to imply, and I know as you look in, you understand, Portillo, it's not that he isn't trying. It's just the suffering from a load of ring rust, I would think. His timing is just a bit off, and of course he's in against a young guy that many people think is a real comer. Coming to the close of round number 4, it's scheduled for 10. We'll be back right after this.
What little damage was done in round number 4 with some combination punching. Look at that left-right combination. Marquez is a kid who does put his punches together very well. I'd like to see a few more combinations from Marquez now, looking at his side of the things, Tom, as this fight continues to evolve. I like the way he throws his punches together, but so far he's been kind of throwing them one at a time.
We're into the 5th round. Nice jab by Marquez. He's in the black trunks, his name across the front of him. And Portillo has his name right across the waistband of his blue trimmed in white trunks. Portillo went down from what we later discovered was a very nice right hand right on the point of the chin that dropped him for a mandatory 8 count back in round number 2, but he was on the canvas, very alert, very wide awake, and quickly came right to his feet. And the gloves dusted off and came right back into the fray. It would appear that most of the scorecards, I think, would have Marquez pitching a shutout, which includes the second round as a 10-8 encounter. Marquez advancing on Portillo, who backs up and throws the left hand, but it's a wide looping left hand, isn't it, Reg? Didn't seem to throw it in a... brings it from wide on the outside, bangs it to the head of Marquez.
That was almost a slap, but at least he landed on the intended target.
Yeah. Something he hasn't done much of so far in this fight. As we watch the action here in the 5th round, we've got Luis Mendoza coming up in our main event tonight. He's in against Iracel Nucamendi. Mendoza is a former 22-pound champion, junior featherweight. Veteran, 30 years old, been in 10 title scraps. Right hand banged in there by Portillo. Might have been as good a punch as he's thrown. He took a right hand in exchange from Marquez.
There seems to be a pretty good disparity in punching power here between these two guys. Marquez just looks to be a lot harder hitter than is Portillo, even though they both have 7 knockouts to their credit.
Marquez has won 10 in a row. The only loss on his record came in his first fight as a professional, and that was a result of headbutts and cuts and things of that nature. Right hand by Portillo scored, and the ensuing blows thrown by Marquez were pretty ineffective, but that right hand wasn't, and he backs Portillo up.
Once again, a very sneaky right hand, Tom. He throws it with great speed.
Yep. There's the bell. That's the end of round number 5. Might have been as good a round as Portillo's had. Boxing fans, the Ringsiders Club offers you select seating complimentary parking, and exclusive Forum Club membership. Join the Ringsiders Club. See the action up close. Become a part of the finest boxing program in America. Call now. Operators are standing by at 310-673-1773.
All right, we'll harken back now to round 5 action. Marquez leading with the jab. That's the rangefinder. And then just a quick, crisp right hand that he threw. A short little right, very, very straight. And there you see Nacho Beristain. Tom talked about what an outstanding conditioner he is. And he also works emotionally and psychologically with these guys, as a good trainer will do. But he is also a master strategist in fights.
Well, no question about it. Looking at Marquez, he is not without a souvenir of this little encounter so far. He's got a little knot up there just outside the right eye, up in the temple area. A little remembrance from Portillo, if nothing else, as they commence action here in round number 6. It is scheduled for 10. Portillo went down in the second round from a crisp right hand to the jaw, but he was quickly back up.
There was the right hand, a looping right by Portillo. I had mentioned to you earlier that Marquez holds his left hand well out in front of him. Look at that, how he holds it very far out in front of him. It seems to me that he is open for that. For that
a right hand right over the top of it.
He tries to hide his chin behind his shoulder. He has a bit of a strange style. But I think that you know, he's vulnerable over on that side.
Portillo in blue and Marquez in the black trunks. Guenadair is the third person in the ring, refereeing this encounter tonight. Very nice fight so far. Not had any problem. Cautioned both men when blows were low.
Well, Gwen has been totally unobtrusive in this fight, which you like to see from a referee.
Well, it's hard to not notice her because she's a very attractive woman. Wild right hand by Marquez. Portillo got in a couple of shots and got a couple in return. As round 6 of a scheduled 10-rounder.
Portillo's got to get busier. He needs to throw more jabs. Oh, forget it.
Well, he got nailed with the right hand before he got that one in the belly. Counts at 6, 7, 8.
He doesn't want any more time.
9.
No.
He's not going to get up. He's done. So here in the 6th round, it'll be a KO win. And the beat continues. Number 8 now. He got hit with a right hand in the face and then got nailed with a shot to the stomach. And that one crumpled him in 2, and he went to his knees and just thought discretion the better part of valor, and he'll be back to fight another day. So a knockout KO win for Marquez. Not unexpected, I might add.
All right, we'll take a look at it right now, Tom. There's the right hand you were talking about. The left hook looked like a good body punch. He just grabbed his middle. Just a solid, not an illegal blow, just a solid left hook to the body. We've seen fighters knock guys out with body punches, and Marquez did it right there.
Indeed. Marquez, who I think was well ahead on every card, finishes off Portillo here in round number 6. We'll get the official time. There he is. Very impressive young featherweight. We'll be back. Is brought to you by Beechwood Aged Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you. And by West Coast Detectives, transportation and protective services worldwide since 1922, headquartered in North Hollywood, California. Well, it ended with a solid right and a left hand to the body, and Juan Manuel Márquez continues along. He's 11-1, 8 knockouts, and for the official call on the time in round number 6, here's Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes, 10 seconds in round number 6. The referee in charge, Guenadair, reaches the count of 10. The winner by way of knockout, Juan Manuel Márquez.
So Marquez continues along. That is now 11 straight wins in his young career. He's just a 21-year-old and another promising young fighter coming out of this young man out of Mexico City. All right, we'll be back. We've got 8 rounds in the flyweight division coming your way. Barrera and Gonzalez. Tell you about Barrera. He's a brother of. Well, we'll be back in a moment. Featherweight division. Juan Marquez against Miguel Rodriguez. Marquez has won 11 in a row, and here's a look at he against Julio Portillo. This kid has that can't-miss label, Rich Morata.
Well, Tommy's a terrific prospect. There's no question about it. Tremendous potential. He's got great connections in his corner. And as you can see with that knockout victory in 6 rounds here over Julio Cesar Portillo, this kid can whack.
Nacho Beristain is the man who's in his corner, and, of course, guiding his future. His opponent tonight, Miguel Rodriguez, doesn't have a very good record. He's 4-6-4, but in against some tough guys. He's from Puerto Rico. He's on a losing streak, but he is a very tough fighter, and according to our information, in every one of the fights he's involved with. He really gives his best. Here's Jimmy London Jr. for the introduction.
Well, fans, this bout coming your way is another one of our featured attractions, scheduled for 10 rounds of boxing. This time, we move into the featherweight division. I introduce to you a referee in charge of this bout, Jose Cobian. Presenting to you first on my left, he is fighting out of the red corner, wearing white trunks with red